In this episode, I walk in the old town of Koblenz and then take a cable car up to the massive fortress for some spectacular views. In the afternoon, I marvel at the colours and castles of the romantic Middle Rhine and finish the day tasting some excellent white wines. This is the gateway to the romantic Rhine Valley, and a spectacular sunrise greets our sail into one of the oldest cities in Germany, Koblenz. Sitting strategically at the confluence of the Rhine and Moselle rivers and in the heart of Germany's wine region, the UNESCO site of Koblenz offers up a rich fusion of French and German cultures, where historical heritage and the modern-day present intermingle. The picturesque squares, hidden courtyards and narrow romantic streets of the old town cry out to be explored, which is exactly what my guide Stefan and I spent the morning doing. This looks very old, Stefan.
Yeah, this is today called the Arts Lane, a small shopping lane, so to speak. But historically, this here would be, well, a peasant's house for common people built in the late 1600s.
Okay.
It was all just made with this half-timbered framework technique, which was historically actually not meant to be so beautiful. It was just very efficient. It was cheap. They do nowadays from time to time is opening the door here on the ground.
Yeah.
For
This
small,
door opens up.
yes, to the outside.
And what's underneath?
They have a little stage down there for theatre plays.
There's a stage down there.
Yes, just a small one. It's mostly just being known by the locals. It's being done by the locals for the locals, and they have small improvised plays there. They have small concerts with acoustic guitars, with a lovely atmosphere downstairs.
I love that idea.
Actually, as a schoolboy, I saw 3 different castles every single morning when I went to school. And I could not have cared less because they're always just there. And I couldn't have cared less about the owners and all these families. What I really found fascinating when I started studying history was the question, who actually were the poor guys carrying all the bricks, doing the work? And that's something we mostly do not know still nowadays because nobody wrote it down.
No, because we didn't care about them.
Exactly. No. The worth of life was not the worth of a, well, sheet of leather.
Yeah, it's a bit like my job. Yeah.
If you compare to that.
I'm joking. That's a joke.
We're approaching now here the German corner, which is a lot about Prussia and unification wars in the 1860s, forming the German Empire, which is for the Koblenz locals today something, well, that is still controversial when it comes to the question, how far should we be proud of that heritage and how far should we honor it? And that's also why the city of Koblenz has had an idea just about 30 years ago to open up this interpretation of this confluence of 2 rivers. It's now just not only talking here about the unification war 150 years ago, but it's also talking about the peaceful reunification there with these pieces of the Berlin Wall that were brought from Berlin to Koblenz in 1992.
Just the Berlin Wall?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
But for West Germans here, and this is deepest West Germany, actually June 17th would be even more important when in 1953 there was a big first strike, a riot against communism in East Germany.
Was it brutally crushed?
Yes, it was crushed by the Soviet tanks.
Yeah.
After all, though, still today, it is, in a lot of German families, not hard to talk about it, but it's still a part of our memory.
It's a fresh history.
Yeah. My grandma, for example, she was born 1937 in East Prussia, today's Kaliningrad, far away. So she grew up as an orphan in East Germany, and she was a believer. She believed that Stalin saved her. So about that year, 1953, she doesn't remember any of the riots, but she does remember that Stalin died that year. And she still today remembers how sad she was. Of course, she now knows about the Gulag system, about the dictatorship going on. But it's hard for her to cope with these feelings.
Up on top of the hill and casting its protective gaze over the city and the rivers below is Europe's second largest fortress, the massive Rembrandtstein. Built by the Prussians in the 1800s in a region frequently invaded by the French, the fortress was never attacked. Getting up there is made easy with a cable car, which offers up some spectacular views as it hovers slowly over the Rhine. You can see for miles from up here, and from the viewing platform in the grounds to fortress, I took in the breathtaking views over the confluence of the Rhine and the Moselle rivers and the surrounding countryside. You know, I was talking to someone the other day who wrote a book about the Rhine, and he was saying that, and I thought this was interesting, he was saying that rivers in the world generally, and with the Rhine, they unite along their length, but they divide on their width.
Yes.
So the trade and things goes up and down, and but the rivers are often borders,
Yeah, it's not so much
frontiers.
sensible anymore nowadays. But for a long time, I mean, beginning with the Romans, this was a border. And in the Middle Ages, it was sometimes a bit different that actually archbishops from Trier, they would live on this side. They would live down there in Ehrenbreitstein, in that village, and governing their archbishopry beginning here from down hills down below the fortress. But mostly the Rhine was the end, the beginning of a new territory.
Stefan, it's time to go. Thank you so much for showing me around your city of Koblenz. I've really enjoyed it.
Thank you so much for having me. I always love getting outside a little, showing my hometown to people from around the world. So thank you for having me. Hope you have a lovely cruise now, seeing all the castles here in the Rhine Gorge, and maybe see you again in
Another day, another time, another shoot.
time.
Thank you.
See you next time.
Welcome to the romantic Middle Rhine. With a castle perched on almost every hilltop and the autumn colours of the vineyards tumbling down to the river, the Middle Rhine is undoubtedly one of the highlights on my journey. In case you're wondering why so many castles were built here, well, many of the fortresses were constructed in a time when there were over 350 independent little states in what is today's Germany. And the castle owners would put heavy chains across the river and then only lower them when duty had been paid. Myths and legends abound, and here at the river's narrowest point is the famous Lorelei Rock, from where a beautiful siren spurned in love once threw herself and now, as a ghostly presence, bewitches passing sailors to their death in the rapid currents and dangerous rocks below. This is wine country, so I arranged a visit to the Schloss Johannisberg, famous for its production of excellent Riesling white wines. So Walter, these are Riesling vines?
Absolutely, 100% Riesling, all what you see here. This estate cultivates one grape variety only, Riesling. That's what the estate is known for and has been known for the past 300 years.
Because Riesling's been produced in this area for a long time, isn't it?
Or at least, look, the first time Riesling was mentioned in man's history was in 1435 in this region here. This is home of Riesling. This estate is considered to be the first and therefore the oldest Riesling winery in the world.
And Walter, what I have to ask, what's your feeling about this year's harvest? Have you had the right conditions to produce an excellent wine?
Well, yes, I really look forward to another great year. Admittedly, we will have some losses in quantity. However, quality will be outstanding again. We are a little bit spoiled, the whole region or most wine producers, because it's not like hot and hot and hot every year. This is unusual for this region. This year is more a normal year. We got more precipitation than we got in the last year, so it's a rather normal year. Yet again, the quality is extremely good.
Yep.
We need to snip off a little bit here and there, a little bit less in quantity, but quality will be outstanding again. I'm absolutely convinced.
And these grapes, or the grapes from these vines, are all hand-picked?
Absolutely. Yes, it's all first. We have steep slopes here. Yeah,
well, we're coming down one now.
The harvest machines, they have technical limitations, of course, and then it's a company philosophy. Hand picking only.
And where do they come from? All the pickers? Are they?
They come from Romania.
They come from the east. Yeah.
From Romania, it's the same people year by year. It started off with two men knocking on the door decades ago, asking for a job during the harvest time, and they were really good. Next year they came again with the brother and the uncle, and it's one family clan. It's 60 people, 60 people. Meanwhile, they're excellent people, very reliable, and they know precisely what to do. No need to train them every year again and again. If something is not clear, since it's one huge family, is no language barrier, they explain their family members what to do, and it works wonderfully.
And these are all your vines?
Absolutely. It's a absolutely premium site. It's perfect. The setting is perfect.
It's beautiful.
It's
really beautiful.
It's a nice angle of slope. This is south, straight ahead, so they're facing 100% southwest facing, which is perfect, being in the northern hemisphere, and they get a maximum of sunshine hours, and it's an absolutely premium site since centuries. This hillside here.
And approximately how many bottles would you expect to produce?
Well, we are sort of not the largest winery in Germany, but one of the outstanding ones, and we produce on average, in an average year, about 300,000 bottles. That's 0.75 of a liter per bottle. That's our average annual production.
Can we go and taste some?
Certainly.
After you, Walter. With pleasure, Walter. With pleasure.
Here we go.
Thank you. Can I go first?
After, please.
Thank you.
After you.
Oh my God. That smells good.
Yes. It's,
I smell
it's
wine.
harvest time, and the barrels are being filled with the 2021 vintage already. So it's in process, the new vintage year already.
How long will you keep that before it goes to market?
All right, on average, depending on what style of wine we are going to produce. But again, harvest is right now. We are still in the middle of harvest.
Right.
And bottling takes place for the dry, semi-dry, for the basic wines next year, end of March, beginning of April. So roughly from harvest to bottling, half a year, something like this, 6 months approximately.
Wow. Oh my God, look at this. It's huge. What can I hear?
You hear the process of alcoholic fermentation.
No.
And during this process, a gas is being produced. That's CO2. That's carbon dioxide, and it builds up a pressure inside the barrel. It needs to be released, and it goes through this one-way lock, one-way valve. It goes through here, through that pipe. This is water treated with sulfide, and it has to go through there. Basically, the idea of this one-way lock is that the other way, nothing can get into the barrel, like microorganism from the cellar atmosphere, something which could spoil the process of the fermentation. If so, microorganism would have to go through this water, again treated with sulfide, and everything gets killed once it goes through there. This has no contact with the inside of the barrel. This is completely separate.
Oh, really?
The history of this place goes back 900 years in time.
Yeah.
And a long time before the castle was built, monks came here, monks from the religious order of the Benedictines.
Right.
They, around about the year 1100, they also maintained vineyards, produced wine, needed a wine cellar, and they actually chiseled a wine cellar into the solid rock. We're inside a mountain now, actually, consisting of a solid rock. And this cellar here is the oldest part of the cellar from this estate, and now this was chiseled into the rock by the monks in the years 1103 until 1107. This cellar is 900 years old now.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
We are standing in front of the treasure chamber now. Behind those iron bars, we have about 20,000 bottles of wine. It's the best wine from each vintage year. We're talking vintage years 1821 until last year, 2020. It's all Riesling, it's all white wine, it's all in bottles. All the bottles are sealed with a natural cork, and this wine is still drinkable.
So, do you sometimes come down in the night and take a bottle?
Sometimes,
who drinks this wine?
Yeah, if I can't fall asleep, I have the
You
keys,
just
so I
pop in
just go
and
and just
you have a little bed in there.
Yeah.
But so that's a lot of value here, isn't it? I mean, this is
Absolutely.
thousands and thousands of
millions.
millions.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Millions of euros, yes. And a 100-year-old natural product without any artificial preservatives, still excellent to drink, a pleasure to drink. It's not just drinkable, don't get me wrong, it's to drink with pleasure, really. 100 years old, so it's quite special. And again, I personally could not think of any grape variety which one could sell for such an incredibly long time, still drinking that wine after such a long time with pleasure and joy. Best Rieslings from the world come from this very region here, since this is also home of Riesling. Here we go.
I've been looking forward to this all day, Walter.
Oh, so do I. Alastair, here we go.
Oh, you're so kind. Thank you.
Oh, well.
Can I say Prost?
Zum Wohl, we say. Zum Wohl. Zum Wohl. Zum Wohl, Alastair. It's a pleasure having you here. Still very young.
I'm starting to get some of the apricot.
Absolutely. Really fruity nose. A little bit of lemongrass too. And, well, we'll see what you think. Cheers. Wonderful.
It's dry. It's nice
Absolutely
and dry.
nice. With a nice, pronounced, crisp, fruity, dry, natural acidity.
Yeah.
Yeah, quite, very lively, this wine. Wonderful.
And it's what they say, long in the mouth. It's,
Absolutely. A long finish
Yeah.
it has.
Long-
a
that's
long
long
finish.
finish.
It doesn't disappear once it's gone. It sticks with you in a nice
sign
way.
of a good wine. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's a dry wine. It's low in residual sugar. We have about 8 gram residual sugar per 1 liter of wine. Nicely balanced with about 7 gram natural crisp fruity acidity, a very important natural ingredient in that wine too. And we have about 13% alcohol here.
And in that beautiful candlelit cellar, Walter and I sniffed, slurped and tasted those delicious Rieslings long into the night. So thank you, Walter. It was a memorable evening.